Hi, I'm Zoe Tant, the Tantalising Stamper. Today I'm going to show you how to create this telescope effect, I'm actually going to use circles today. This is one I've already created using square dies, and I'm going to show you simply how to do it. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, you want to choose an image, and I'm using the Winterly Treetops stamp set, and I'm going to use this image. So I've got some Memento ink because I'm going to colour it in using alcohol markers. I'm going to stamp it in the centre of that piece of card, just there. And I'll stamp it twice just in case my colouring doesn't live up to expectation. So I've got it there, and now I'm going to colour it in. So what I like to do, first of all, is use some ivory and just start putting a little bit of shading using the lines from the image onto what I'm doing, and it just puts a bit of shading in an extra layer. And a little bit down there. Okay, then I'm going to move on and use light Pebble Path to start adding some shading here again. Not too much there because I'm gonna try and make this guy a little robin. So if we just start putting some on that branch, a little bit, and I'll also straight away colour that bit in because I think that's probably his wing is just poking out around the edge. Then we'll bring in, what should we try next? I think we'll try we've got dark crumb cake. So we start to blend that in around the bazaars. If you do little circles, you can then blend from the darker colour that you've already put on. Adding some shading to the image. I think we'll move on to a little bit of red, and we'll start with light, no, I think I'll start with dark real red, and possibly, that's Poppy Parade that I've got anyway, so dark real red. If we just start doing a little bit, I'm just dotting on the colour where I might want it to be a little bit more shaded. And we'll let that dry off a little bit, and then in the meantime go back to the ivory, just add a little bit of ivory to these berries so it helps do the shading and stuff. Well, I think it does, and a little bit down here to get some colour going on there to start off with. Then we can go back to our red, and we used dark real red, so maybe we'll try a little bit of light. Again, let that dry. In the meantime, I'll have a look at his beak, and for this I'm using copper clay. So I've got dark, so I'll start just under here a little bit. And again, just using the point of this soft brush tip. Again, let that one dry. This time we're going to go with a little bit of dark cherry cobbler. Oh, except mine's got a bit mashed up, so I'm going to use the bullet end, which tends to give you a little bit more control anyway. Just shade these bits around the edge. And we can come back to him. Use the light just to, and again, just blend it in. For the nose, beak I should say. I don't think birds usually have noses, but you know what I mean. And add in these extra bits for there. Move them back over here. Then we can use the light Poppy Parade, I think, to finish off this red Robin Redbreast. Little circles, blending all those shades of colour. A little bit of the darker stuff in there as well. And then I'm going to use, I think, light crumb cake to colour. Looks like I might need a new crumb cake soon. And I'm not going to colour all the way around his eye because I think it just draws a little bit of sort of spotlighting to it. Now, I'm no expert, so if you've got a better way, then that's absolutely fine. No way is 100% correct. But if you're happy with how it ends out, then that's what counts, isn't it, really? I think then we might go back to a little bit of light pebbled path. Just add a little bit more shading where his leg goes there. And then again, I will come back and probably blend these a little bit more. When I'm ready. What should we use? What have we got here? Pecan pie. I think I might do a bit of dark pecan pie just to very carefully add a little bit of colour to this twig. I'm just using the very tip of the brush. And then I'm going to use the dark pebbled path just to add very little bits of colour so that his claws show up. Maybe the light crumb cake once more, just to blend all this in a little bit more. We've got grey granite as well, so I might just sweep over a little bit with that, because they're sort of grey brown really, they're not all brown, and this just helps. There we go. What do you think? Okay, I think we're sort of there, aren't we? For our spotlight, I've got these three dies. They're from the Stylish Shapes dies. So you've got these pennants, banners, circles, and then a set of squares. And I've just taken three because it's not a huge image. I'm going to layer this one over the top. And then position. Now you've got to be careful because you want to not really cut right on top of his eye, because that might not look so great afterwards. And then play about with these so that they're, maybe we could come that way a little bit and then drop that. So what we'll then do is we'll die cut those. Okay, so I've die cut them. I've also cut, using the next layer in the circles, a real red circle that I can then pop these onto. So if I'm going to start off by just positioning them to start off with to create my telescope. So I've got the outside one, and then if I pop this one in, obviously you can then just rotate it until they match up. I think we're almost there. Maybe not quite. I think that's probably it. And then we've got this one that goes. You want to make sure that they're lined up. And then we'll come to stick them. Get that little bit of berry. There we go. We'll come to stick them. And the easiest way I found is to work from the middle. So if we grab some sticky pads and some glue, and I want to make sure it's central on this. So I'm going to hold the outside ones and take this one off. And I'm actually going to start by adding a little bit of glue in there. and then I can add some on further around the edge of this one. So, and if you use wet glue like this Tombow, the great thing is that it's got a little bit of flex and manoeuvrability that allows you to slide it around to make sure that you get it in the right place. So obviously I want that little bottom part of that berry is probably a great place to start. Oops. Except we don't want to move that one at the same time, so there we go. I'll have to use my glue remover later. Then I've found if you use these lovely little mini dimensionals, so on the next circle, keeping those two together, ooh, I think that moved slightly, I'm going to layer these around and I'm just using one layer thick of the dimensionals to just keep this going. Now it's up to you how many you want to put on, but you don't want it to look like it's drooping once you've done it. So I'm using my picker tool, and I've bought the accessory set which has this piece that has a spike for if you want to do hole piercing and maybe stitch or whatever, but or what's it called, where you put lots of holes in, I can't remember, but I'm also using this little tool at the end here, which I find is just perfect for getting the backs off of these sticky pads, and it just hooks in and pulls them off. It's great. It's really satisfying too if you're a bit of a picker like me. So that one I'm now going to stick back on here, and arguably I've got that one in place, so I can just make sure that I line it up with that little berry. I think that's the easiest place. I think that's it. Yep. And then the last one, I think what I might do is actually run these around the edge like this. There's a good centimetre there, so these should be fine. And keep popping them. Ooh, popping them around. Maybe I should use this. Pull off the backing at the same time. There we go. Oh gosh, how easy is that? So if we take all these off now, and then we want to add another one because we need to raise this up to create that telescope look as though you're looking down through it. So we're making this one higher, and then we've got to take off these. So that's all of those, and then I'm going to take the last circle, and because this was quite a small image, obviously I've only got a little bit outstanding, so I just want to make sure that I line up his tail feathers and his head there, and then we've got this telescoping. So then to finalise our card, what I've got is a garden green base card, and then I've used the new birch embossing folder, which is huge. So this is it. As you can see, it's 15 centimetres, so it's 6 inches, but I think it's about 9. Let's have a look. Nope, 8.5. So it's great if you want to do larger pieces of embossing. And both sides work out really well, so you can either use, this is actually the deboss side, and this is the emboss side. So it's up to you. I'm actually going to go with the deboss side because the other bits that I want to stick on, I think will adhere better to that. So I'm going to just, because I've got quite a lot of bulk in there with those sticky pads, I'm just going to stick this flat onto my base. My base card is a C5 in UK terms, so it's just 10.5 by 14.8 and a smidge, as I tell my ladies. And then this piece is 9 centimetres by 14 centimetres, but with US sizes you could do the same. You just cut a standard card base and then just take off probably 1/4 of an inch on 2 sides to bring this down to the size that you want it. I'm going to pop him there, I think, because I'm then using sentiments from some of the lovely die cut ephemera packs that we've got coming in. I've got a Season's Greetings there that I'm going to use, and this is a superset. It's got lots of sentiments that are all printed and then die cut in different colours. There's some that just say just for you, like these two, and then Let It Snow. So you've got blues and greens and reds, so really sort of traditional Christmas colours. This piece on Earth is rather lovely, so you could have that as a underneath banner on this one. You've even got Happy New Year coming in, and joy and love and peace and joy, and they're different sizes, so they're great for very quick and easy cards. We've also got this set coming in, which is called Joyful Images ephemera pack. As you can see, I've been playing with a lot of it already. I'm actually going to use this sweet little bow, but this has got great pieces: baubles, mittens, bells, candy canes, cookies. Oh, they're all falling out. Deer, Christmas stockings, and then cinnamon and star anise and orange slices, wreaths, little sweetie balls and banners. And you can probably see from the light that they're foiled in places, so it gives a little bit of sparkle for Christmas. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to stick this again on just with wet glue. So pop that over to the side. And then I've got some glue dots I'm going to use for this bow. As these are they're stiff paper, but they're more paper than card. So you want to treat them with a little bit of care. But once they're on, they're just perfect for adding easy embellishments. And as you saw, I keep mine in a stamp case, which keeps them nice and flat and safe. I'm going to pop that on there like that. And I'm also going to, what shall I use with this? Maybe I'll try some fine tip glue, I think. Just squeeze it gently. There we go. So put little tiny dots on, hopefully on the wider pieces, so it doesn't ooze out the side. But you could try this with glue dots as well, or Tombow if you've got a little applicator pot. So we're just dotting as many pieces as we think it needs to just hold it on. Maybe a bit around the edge and on that tip there. So let's see if we can turn it and position it straight away. And just hold it in place and not let too much ooze out. There we go. So that's what we call telescoping. Really easy to do. I've done it really simply with only 3 rings, but if you had a larger image, you could use more. And as I showed you at the beginning of the video, I also used a square to create this one which was a slightly larger image. Okay, so thanks for joining me today. I do hope you'll visit our blog hop and go to my blog at stampingscene.blogspot.com, where you can see all the details of the products that I've used, but you can also, it will link to everyone else that's in the blog hop, and you can get lots of ideas of how to do this technique. Take care. Bye bye.